Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. My name is Thomas Hoynt. I fucked it up. Okay, that's because we're not on live, so my
It's
voice doesn't work
he has
properly.
over 3,000
Shut
shows out, and
up.
he doesn't even know his own
I don't
fucking
know my
name.
name. I'm going to do my name properly this time for sure. All right, here we go. Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. My name is Thomas Hunt, and I'm joined by Mike Dupree and Emilio. How's it going, Mike?
I'm well, thank you.
And welcome to the show, Emilio.
Thank you very much.
And today we're just talking about Mount Gox. Generally, everyone knows the legendary Mount Gox, as I used to call it, even when it was still around, joking at its pathetic PHP interface. And it always just seemed like a clunky exchange. Back then, I barely had just a handful of Bitcoin. Of course, I have less than that now. But back in the day, you guys were major hodlers. You were moving around on Mount Gox. About what time did you first create an account on Mount Gox, Emilio?
A month before it went down, so I had stored like a lot of Bitcoin on a smartphone, and it was just New Year's, and I was really drunk, and I dropped my phone, and the screen shattered, so I couldn't get access to my Bitcoin for a while. But then once I fixed the screen, I was like, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. So I transferred the coins, all of them, to Mt. Gox. And the rest is history.
So from one disaster to another disaster. So you actually got
Yep.
the phone with the broken screen fixed, only to lose. So it was a disaster. Mike, when did you create your Mt. Gox account?
Oh, it was probably 2010 or 2011. It was where I bought my first Bitcoins. I think I sent a Western Union transfer to one of Mt. Gox's subsidiaries, and I think it was in America actually that I sent it to, and boom, I had some Bitcoin. But yeah, I was one of their early customers and worked with them for a long time. I never held a lot of Bitcoin on Mt. Gox, but I did a lot of arbitrage trading there, and our robots were working on that exchange, on a minutely basis.
Now, Mt. Gox was a good exchange for a long time, but as we all know, it met an unfortunate end, suddenly shutting down. Mike, did you have money that was trapped inside of Mt. Gox when it shut down?
Oh, I think a lot of us did. I mean, it's the most secure cold storage I guess you can get. So, um, what I did do is, I got this letter, and I guess they're going to try to give us some of our money back.
All right, Mike, and what are the details of this letter?
So I have here in front of me, and I'm not sure that you got the same letter, which is actually kind of a curious thing. So about a week ago, dated March 15th, but I received it a week ago. I got a statement of acceptance or rejection. I basically had to reply to an email that had said that essentially so a long time ago, Mt. Gox sold these claims or something to Kraken. And on Kraken, I had set up a profile. Did you do this as well?
Yeah, I did. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that years ago, and then I also submitted a separate claim recently and it was rejected. So the correct claim was rejected, but because Kraken did this, they have this one that was, people who forgot to file or something. So I was automatically filed under that or something like this, and it's basically correct enough. But I mean, so I'm looking at this letter here, and you're saying you didn't get one of these. Last week you didn't get any
Okay,
communication from Mt. Gox, or you
last
did?
week I didn't get any last week, but now that you said it was sent out March, I got the last email I got from the trustee was March 20th.
Okay. This is dated
Um,
March 15th, but received, I think, 4 or 5 days ago. And this basically says my creditor number, name of creditor, country, address, Bitcoins, Bitcoin Cash, US dollars, and Japanese yen, and tells me about my claim.
yep, same here. It has my creditor number. It's the part of it's in Japanese there, and then the English following. So.
And on the last line of that, is it the same where it says that in respect to the amount of each claim for the return of Bitcoin, etc., the zero figures at the ninth and 10th decimal places are being displayed due to a technical problem. Such zero figures are irrelevant to the amount of each claim?
No, actually, it doesn't say that at all.
I find that to be absolutely appalling that in a multi-billion-dollar disaster here, that we can't even find somebody that knows how to use Excel spreadsheet or any kind of math. Like why do we have extra zeros at the end of our claims?
Yeah, this is super weird. Also, I mean, this email's in the subject. It says March 15th, but I received it on the 20th. So I think they're sending this at a snail's pace. And you're saying that you received this email that was sent out apparently in March a couple weeks ago. So it just seems awful.
I'm just looking at my Gmail right now, and I received this from Mount Gox Consent at noandt.com on June 11th, so 5 days ago.
Wow.
It usually takes that long for an email to cross the internet.
Well, if you have to pay 500 lawyers to look at it first, I mean, they can't just give us our bitcoins back. We're going to have to, employ an entire country of lawyers.
That's amazing. They must be making out like bandits.
It's also an interesting math note that you can add an infinite number of zeros to decimal places and it doesn't change the value. So the 9th and 10th zero that are after the 8 zeros of everyone knows Satoshi's don't matter anyway. So they're wrong on using Excel. They're wrong on using math. It's very confusing. And like Mike said, this line went into every single letter, or at least maybe not yours, Emilio, but every letter that was in Mike's class of people or whatever. And they all had to have their lawyers read it, and they all had to puzzle over it and wonder why they had to add these extra strange zeros to the total.
Super weird.
Yeah, I mean, they added in Japanese and then translated to English, like 50 words instead of just doing a simple formula to fix it. So I want to take another little jump here, and I'm looking at a document, case number 2017 SAI number 35 from the Mount Gox Rehabilitation Debtor. And I don't know how to better identify this document, but it's called the Terms of Consent Regarding Civil Rehabilitation Proceedings. And I'm going to go over to, I don't know if you've read this or not, but you might be excited as soon as I read this next little part here. Section 12B, Bitcoin. The amount obtained by converting the Bitcoin price denominated in US dollars announced by CoinDesk at 23:59 on June 21st, 2018, Japan time, converted to Japanese yen using the exchange rate referred to in the above. 1 Bitcoin equals 6,724 US dollars, 57 cents. Do you think that's something we're not going to actually ever see?
No, I don't. I've given up on Mount Gox a long time ago. It helps me sleep at night thinking that I lost all of it instead of having hope that I'm going to get a single penny from this thing.
I can appreciate that a lot. So with Kraken, you did file there, and then did you also try to put in the manual claim with Mount Gox yourself after Kraken was no longer involved? Or can you kind of give me a little brief history of your claim filing process, so to say?
So initially, my whole claim was denied, which was ridiculous. I think I was approved for like 500 yen, which probably would get me like a sushi roll at a 7-Eleven in Tokyo.
Maybe a bottle of water.
So, yeah. So that was very humiliating. And then thankfully got the option to do the claim over, and then they approved me. But I had to speak to the trustee personally, and then I had to send them a copy of my passport.
When you said you had to speak to the trustee personally, can you kind of just outline the process that you went through exactly? Because my process was different than yours, and I'd like to detail both.
Yeah, so I started receiving these strange calls from Japan. And initially I thought it was just like any other like telephone spam. Basically, I get all these calls from Lithuania and weird countries that
you get a lot of Japanese people calling you.
Not Japanese, but I get a lot of spam callers from different countries calling me all the time. India, Lithuania, countries like that. So I thought this was another spam call, but I just decided to pick it up, and I'm glad I did. Well, we'll see if I'm glad or not. But basically, the man on the other end identified himself as the trustee, and they sent me an email from basically all of the other emails that we've been receiving information from. So I knew it was legit. And he basically said to respond back with the driver's license scan and a passport scan, as well as your claim over again, and also to send the claim to overnight it to them just so that they could approve it. So
it to Japan,
I did all of, yeah, so I paid like $120 or something, or well, it was as near overnight as it would get. I think it was still like a 3 or 4 business day process, but it was the fastest shipping I could find, and I sent it over them.
And they, of course, gave you a shipping label for this and paid for it, right?
No, they didn't. So, yeah, I mean, it was an adventure, and I mean, you know, obviously we're still waiting around to see if this money is actually going to come back. I really doubt that any of it's going to come back. But,
so in the end,
I mean,
you actually got some kind of a confirmation that your claim was approved.
Approved. Yes. Yep. They approved it. And they gave me a dollar figure for how much they approved it for. And they asked me if I wanted it back in Bitcoin or USD. And I said,
not gotten
whatever.
That.
Yeah, and I told the trustee, whatever is faster. So at this point, I'm just looking to get something back. I would love it in Bitcoin.
I would love it in Bitcoin too, but you've gotten more communication than I have. So I contacted them. They never reached out to me. And all of my claims were denied. And then there was this automated claim that came through. So my creditor number begins with a Z, which is this class of creditors that I guess some law firm or someone is automatically filing for us or something.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So they, you said earlier that they had mentioned they would give you in fiat or in Bitcoin. Did they mention a rate that the conversion would take place at?
He didn't even mention that. He just asked me if I preferred it in Bitcoin or USD. I told him really whatever is faster, but my preference is Bitcoin. So the bank I used to set up the Mt. Gox account, I no longer have an account with them because they shut me down. So just like most major banks in the U.S. It isn't. I'm banned from Chase, though. It's Citibank.
Welcome to the club.
Shut me down.
Citibank still allows
Bank of America,
me, I don't know why.
Chase, PNC, basically all the major banks in the U.S. don't do business with me, unfortunately.
Oh man, that's our big loss. I can feel your pain. We're just not going to get ripped off by the banks for the rest of our lives. Not sure if it's a curse or a blessing, but so either way, back to what we were talking about here with Mt. Gox.
Oh, well, first of all, I think it's great that they're sending you guys all these letters and really giving you the personal touch. I think I have less than 0.01 in there. I keep getting strange emails, but no strange phone calls. And recently I had one that it just said, reply on this line and we will include you. And so I was like, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to give that a shot because it's hard for me to get my information. Thomas is the kind of guy that always wants
to be included.
I have a little bit in there. I'm sure it's gone up. I think if it is $20 or less, but you know, these days, the Bitcoin, all that thing, maybe there could be $100 there. So, but for you guys, it's obviously different when you're trying to get a larger amount. Now, Mike, I think there was more to that letter. You had said earlier that they had
wait. Can we hold up? Can we? Okay. I want you to just continue detailing exactly the process that you went through. So
sure.
You were at the point where you had to send over some ID. You sent over a passport and a driver's license. Did this have to be apostilled and everything? You had to send this to Japan. This wasn't like something you could scan and email. It was, let's hear the whole process, the whole 9 yards.
So I did both because honestly, I didn't trust that. So funny enough, I actually went to the office where we're supposed to be mailing this stuff in Tokyo just to see what it was like. And it was literally, it almost looked abandoned. So I was like knocking on the door. No one would answer.
Was there a bunch of those bouncy balls that Carpellis likes to sit on, kicking around, but no people?
No, you couldn't even see inside of it. It looked like a storage storage room, like a janitor's closet almost. So I actually went there in person. This was 2016 to see, but this all the driver's license and passport stuff was earlier this year. So I emailed them and I sent them via mail, even though he said that they couldn't accept it if it was email. I just did both just in case. And they got it and they accepted it about a month later. So that was relief.
Do you know by chance?
It was a relief, but
do you know by chance what your creditor? And I don't want your full number, but the first digits. Is it a Z? Is it an A? Is it a B?
It's a Y.
It's a Y. Okay, so I'm not sure which that class is. I think what we've got going on here is we've got a bunch of law firms that are kind of trying to jump in and reaching out. So like Z is a law firm that went for all the people that hadn't filed claims, which is bullshit. I hired lawyers that tried to file claims and went to Japan and all this nonsense, but I could not get my claims accepted except for this Z class that was automatically accepted through some process I don't understand.
Huh. Damn. Well, so this is is a Z class like a civil suit?
I'm not sure. I didn't apply for this or ask for it or anything else. I was sent an email. I've got it here in front of me. Just let me log in real quick. I'm just trying to help, more importantly, to document for everybody because I don't know, if you speak Japanese. I went to business school in Japan for a year, but I don't speak Japanese. And these translations are horrible. And there's so much information, I just have no idea what's going on. But I got this email saying, to creditor number Z1 blah, you received this email because you are a creditor, blah, 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 blah. Your self-approved rehabilitation claims are detailed below. Accordingly, we hereby stated, blah, blah, blah. If you want to accept this claim, you need to copy and paste this sentence, which says, I/we hereby agree to represent as set forth in the terms of consent regarding the civil rehabilitation proceedings sent by the... So, I'm not sure if this is, let me look at the domain. It's from noandt.com. So it's not an official Mt. Gox email domain. It does know my creditor number, and it does have all of the information in my claim, like the amount of Bitcoins, which is accurate, but the amount of fiat is not. So I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do here. It does say, though, that the amount obtained by converting the Bitcoin price denominated in USD by CoinDesk at 23.59 on June 21st, 2018 Japan time to the Japanese exchange in yen is $6,724 US dollars and 57 cents. So I mean, even if they give me that, I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, me too. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm getting emails from the mountgox_trustee@noandt.com. So,
okay,
yeah,
so it's the same law firm.
Emails I'm getting. Yeah.
Mine is from Mt. Gox consent@noandt.com. So what's your next step? Did you give them a Bitcoin address? Did you give them a bank account number? Did they tell you how they're going to proceed? Did they give you any idea about a time frame?
I'm actually, that's a good question. Like, I don't know what I said. I think I might have provided a bank account, but I'm not sure if that bank account that I provided a couple months ago is even still a bank account that I have anymore. Because Wells Fargo shut me down. So I think I might have given them that one. Bitcoin address, I might have given them a Bitcoin address, but I should have definitely wrote this down a little better because I don't know which Bitcoin address I gave them.
Well, this is where I fucked up too. I've got a bunch of Bitcoin over at Havelock, and I withdrew Bitcoin from Mt. Gox to Havelock, and Havelock wants me to sign with the private key a message confirming that I own the address that I sent the Bitcoins to them from. And, I don't have control of Mt. Gox addresses. I can't even access and see my history anymore. This is all
oh,
ages.
no. So you have a Bitcoin that's stuck in there and you can't get it out?
Yeah. I've got over 20 Bitcoin in there, and it's just stuck. And I've been emailing back and forth with them. I email, and they write back about 6 months later, and then I write back, and 1 minute later, and then they write back about 6 months later, and they want me to sign with the address I deposited the initial. This was for Rental Starter. It was a one of the first. I don't know if it was an ICO or something, but like they were raising money so that they could buy houses and rent them out. And
Yep.
I invested in that years ago, and it's done pretty well. And I can't. My two-factor says it's invalid on Havelock, and it's the same. I only have one Havelock account, and all my other two factors work fine. So I'm pretty sure that my two-factor is fine, but they won't. And I get a statement every month showing my balance, so I know that nobody's stolen it. But I can't. They won't let me in. So
That's awful. That sounds really, really bad. There's nothing you can do. Where are they located?
I'm not sure on that one. I think they're somewhere in Latin America, in South America. I think Panama or something. But let's get back. We got lots of stuff we could talk about at
Yeah.
some point. But let's get back on topic here. So, what's your next step? Are you kind of waiting around for them to call back? Are you? What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm just waiting around. I'm not putting too much thought into this, just because if I put too much thought, I probably am going to be disappointed, and I just don't want to be disappointed anymore. I'm
Well, you should
focusing
get out
on
of crypto then.
well, no, I've been expanding the Bitcoin ATMs, which is fun, and just having fun with that. The latest the latest trend is those horrible scams that are happening at the ATMs. But apart from that, everything's great. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, it's lovely having you on the show here, and we'll get you back again sometime. I'd love to talk about some of the banking things and maybe some of the ATM stuff at some point whenever we have a little more time. But since I just received this letter that, again, is dated March 15th, but I received it 5 days ago, I figured it was important to discuss it urgently. But I guess I'm in the Z class, not the Y class, so everybody else got the letter a few months ago or something.
Yeah, we should find someone with the same letter, see if they got the same email as you. That is really weird.
I think it took, it came out March 15th in Japanese, but they did such an excellent job of translating it that it took a couple of months.
That's funny. Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me on the show, and let me know if it actually comes out. I'd love to hear it.
All right. Thanks so much, Emilio, for being on the show. And until next time, bye-bye.